The Angels take on the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The New York Yankees are minus 280, totals 8.5. Garrett Cole starting for the Yankees, Jose Suarez for Los Angeles. And following another winning day of premium sports picks on BrockPage.com, we're currently 8-1 in our last 9 $1.99 daily best plays. Now, if you want to access today's $1.99 daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. We're also hitting at 80% in our last 10 extra daily picks on that very same website. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, that's only going to cost you just $2.99. Now, we currently have over 825 members who are signed up and active on on BrockPage.com. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's Patreon. I keep wanting to say Patreon. It's BrockPage.com. Of course, it just redirects you right to Patreon, but BrockPage.com. A lot easier to remember. Anyway, the Angels have lost 6 out of their last 9 ball games. Bottom 10 in the majors in runs allowed. Meanwhile, on the offensive side, the Angels are in the bottom 10 in road scoring. Now they're taking on a New York club who won their last 2 straight, 7-3 straight up in their last 10. The Yankees lead the majors in walks at the plate. And of course, Aaron Judge has himself a .902 OPS along with 26 home runs. When it comes to the pitching, New York allows just 3.9 runs a game at Yankee Stadium. Garrett Cole's 10-6 with a 3.11 ERA and a .99 WHIP. The righties also struck out 176 batters in just over 130 innings of work. And when it comes to the total in this one, New York went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Los Angeles. Meanwhile, the Angels are currently 66-53 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the New York Yankees minus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next matchup, Orioles-Rays, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tampa's minus 270, numbers 8.5. Colin McHugh for the Rays, Matt Harvey for Baltimore. Harvey 6-11 with a 6.10 ERA and a 1.56 WHIP. The last place O's have lost 11 straight, and they're dead last in the league in runs allowed. They're taking on a Tampa club who's in the top 5 in scoring. And they're led by Brandon Lau, who's hit 26 homers and driven in 65. Austin Meadows has also hit 21 homers and knocked in 77 as well. The Rays are winning over 66% of their divisional games. Colin McHugh's 4-1 thus far in the season, 1.41 ERA and a .92 WHIP. Total-wise, 7 out of Tampa's last 10 ball games got over the line. They're also 32-21 to the over against the AL East. Meanwhile, the O's are 28-19 to the over in their divisional contest themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next matchup, Cubs-Reds, 7:10 p.m. East. The Cincinnati Reds are minus 210, totals 9.5. Wade Miley for Cincinnati, Justin Steele for Chicago. The Cubs have lost 11 straight ball games, 21-40 straight up on the road. And that's good for a win percentage of just .344 when they travel. This Cubbies lineup is being held to just 7.4 hits a game. And they're averaging nearly double-digit strikeouts per contest as well. They're taking on a Cincy club who's won 3 out of their last 4. And they rank in the top 5 in hits on average per game. Joey Votto's hit 26 homers and knocked in 75. The first baseman's in the top 10 in the league in both home runs and OPS. Nick Castellanos is also 6th in the bigs in batting average. The outfielder is currently hitting .315 at the plate. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Cincy went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games, 35-23 to the over at the Great American Ballpark. Meanwhile, Chicago's 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cincinnati Reds minus 1.5 in the over 9.5 runs. Next ball game, Braves Marlins, 7:10 p.m. Eastern start time. The Atlanta Braves are minus 165, totals 8.5. Touki Toussaint for Atlanta, Braxton Garrett for Miami. Both pitchers with very limited innings thus far in the year. although Garrett struck out 30 batters in just 31 innings of work. Miami's also got a winning record at home, and they also went 12-9 straight up in their divisional home games. This Miami pitching staff is in the top 10 in home strikeouts. They're also holding their opponents to just 3.5 runs a game at Lone Depot Park. They're taking on an Atlanta club who averages nearly double-digit strikeouts at the plate despite their recent success. And the Braves are also in the bottom 10 in hits at the plate on the road. Now, pitcher Tuki Toussaint, he comes into today's contest with a 1-2 record and a 4.28 ERA. When it comes to the total in this one, Atlanta's 20-15 to the under in their divisional games when they travel. Miami's 25-20 to the under against the NL East themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Miami Marlins plus 1.5 and the under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, A's White Sox 8:10 Eastern Standard Time. Both teams are minus $1.10, numbers 9 flat. Frankie Montas for Oakland, Dallas Keuchel for Chicago. Now Keuchel's got 7 wins thus far in the year, 77 strikeouts for the lefty. The first placed White Sox are also 18 games over 500, and they win 65% of their home games. Chicago's also really good at the plate. I don't know how else to tell you. Timmy Anderson, he's batting .300, which is 16th in the majors. Meanwhile, Jose Abreu's hit 24 homers and knocked in 86. The Chicago pitching staff holds their opponents to just 3.7 runs per contest at Guaranteed Rate Field. They're taking on an Oakland club who lost 2 out of their last 3 themselves. This Oakland pitching staff is also in the bottom half of the league in striking batters out. Frankie Montas lost 8 games this season and also has a whip that has gotten up to 1.24. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, Oakland's 34-25 to the under when they travel. Chicago's 34-26 to the under at Guaranteed Rate Field. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago White Sox minus $1.10 and the under 9 runs. Next ball game, Indians Twins 8:10 East. The Minnesota Twins are minus $1.25, totals 9.5. Griffin Jacks for Minnesota, Cal Quantrill for Cleveland. Quantrill's 3-2 with a 3.13 ERA and a 1.23 WHIP. The Indians won 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they rank in the top 10 in striking batters out on the road. Cleveland's also allowing just 7.6 hits a game. They're taking on a Twins club who's 14 games below 500, and they also rank in the bottom 3 in runs allowed. Griffin Jacks comes into this contest with a 5.45 ERA. When it comes to the total in this one, Minnesota went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Indians plus 105 and the under 9.5. Next matchup, Astros Royals 8:10 p.m. Eastern first pitch. The Houston Astros are minus 155, totals 10. Jay Odorizzi for Houston, Carlos Hernandez for Kansas City. Now Hernandez comes into today's contest with a 4.11 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP. The last place Royals are 18 games below 500, and they're in the bottom 5 in runs allowed. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak, and they also rank in the bottom 5 in scoring. They're taking on a first-place Astros club who's 23 games over 500, and they also lead the league in scoring and hits. Michael Brantley's batting a league-leading .332. Yordan Alvarez has also knocked in 76. The Astros also have Jake Odorizzi on the bump here tonight, who's got a 1.19 WHIP. When it comes to the total in this one, Houston's 33-24 to the over on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Astros minus 155 and the over 10 runs. Next ball game, Pods Rockies 8:40 Eastern start time. The San Diego Padres are minus 130, totals 12.5. Ryan Weathers for the Pods, Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. Senzatella's just 2-9 on the season, 4.71 ERA and a 1.43 WHIP. Colorado's lost 5 out of their last 6 ball games, bottom 10 in runs allowed. This Colorado pitching staff's also striking out just 7.9 batters a game. They're taking on a Padres club who won 5 out of their last 9 themselves, top 5 in road scoring. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s 3rd in the majors with 33 home runs, kind of remarkable because he missed a really big chunk of the year. And he's also got a league-leading OPS of 1.054. Manny Machado's also hit 21 homers and knocked in 78. When it comes to the scoring in this one, San Diego went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. Colorado's 3-1 to the over in their last 4 at Coors Field. I'm going to lean toward the San Diego Padres minus $1.10 and the over 12.5 runs. Next ball game, Mets, Giants, 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. San Francisco's minus 210, totals 8.5. Kevin Gausman for San Francisco, Rich Hill for New York. The Hill's got a 5.00 ERA with his new ball club. New York wins just 39% of their road games. This New York lineup has also struggled at the plate this season. They're averaging only 3.7 runs a game. They're taking on a first-place Giants club who's 34 games above 500. San Francisco has also won 8 out of their last 10 contests. The Giants are winning 69% of their ball games at Chase Field. They currently lead the majors in fewest walks allowed. Kevin Gausman's 11-5 on the year, 2.29 ERA and a .97 WHIP. He's also struck out 162 batters. Now, total-wise, San Francisco's 27-21 to the over against the National League at Oracle Park. Meanwhile, the Mets are 33-25 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the San Francisco Giants minus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup. It is going to be Pirates-Dodgers, 10:10 p.m. East. Now, the LA Dodgers are minus 350, totals 9. No confirmed starter yet for Los Angeles. Steven Brault possible for Pittsburgh. The last place Pirates win just 30% of their road games. They also score fewer runs than any other team in the majors. They're taking on a Dodger club who wins over 64% of their home games, and they lead the majors in striking batters out. This LA pitching staff also allows only 3.4 runs a game at Dodger Stadium. When it comes to the number in this one, LA's 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games. Pittsburgh's 33-26 to the under in their road games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 1.5 and the under 9 runs. And with that, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap, powered to you by BrockPage.com. We are currently 8-1 in our last 9, $1.99 daily best plays on that website. Spit it out, man. New York Yankees minus 1.5 over 8.5. Tampa Bay minus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. Cincinnati minus 1.5 over 9.5. Miami plus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Chicago White Sox minus $1.10 under 9. Cleveland plus 105 under 9.5. Houston minus 155 over 10 runs. San Diego minus $1.10 over 12.5. San Francisco minus 1.5 over 8.5. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are once again 8-1 in our last 9, $1.99 daily best plays on BrockPage.com. We're also hitting at 80% in our last 10 extra daily picks on that very same website. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 1.5 and the under 9 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that goes to Edward Aguas, who said yesterday, "Hey, Brock, what happened to the whole video?" And of course, he's referencing basically the shortened video yesterday. It was essentially just the quick pick recap and the closing of the video. The reason why I've been having to do that recently is because there's different steps in the YouTube process. Like when you upload a video, there's like preparing, there's uploading, and then one of the final steps is processing. And for some reason, I guess over the past couple of months, when I'm uploading a video to YouTube, the processing phase has been lasting like hours, like 2 to 3 hours. One day was 4 hours. And so on days where that's happening, where things are getting slow in the processing phase, I just have to put up a shorter video and get it out, because typically when it's taking hours to go through that processing phase, games are already starting at that point. So the whole video is really just a wash. So it's a great question. It's certainly a valid concern. I know I've been doing it a lot. I love YouTube. It's a great platform. It's completely built my brand, but I have been struggling with the processing part of the uploads lately. But great question, and thank you for taking the time to comment there. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a package here today on that site, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. That's just the billing patterns of the Patreon platform. So I always tell folks the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. If you do end up signing up today, you are going to get access to that content all the way through the end of August. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com. No, damn it, Brock. Well, patreon.com/BrockPage. Sorry, I've been saying it for years. That is the platform, but you can make it a lot easier by typing in brockpage.com.